Hey, Alex Terrace here, healthhacksreview.com. So in this video, I'm going to basically talk to you about an important topic very few companies ever want to bring up to their customers. And it's, again, not discussed very often in the infrared sauna industry. And that is that the vast majority of saunas that you're evaluating out there actually have plywood, at least in the ceiling, if not also in the floor. And so why I want to talk to you about this is I think the consumers have done well demanding lower EMF saunas. But again, another big concern is in the actual construction quality of the sauna. So right here in the frame, I actually have a brand that, as you can see on the bottom here, is exposed. So this is the floor, by the way, that we're taking a look at here. And these going across here, this is hemlock. Okay, and this is a very common thing, again, you see in saunas. This, however, kind of hear the hollow sound on it, this is going to be plywood. And so in the floor, on the opposite side of this, many saunas will have an actual emitter. So there is some heat that is coming up from usually floor heaters. Not all saunas have floor heaters, but the vast majority. And why that is important to note is that plywood in and of itself, if it's just standing around, not maybe so much of a concern in terms of VOCs, so off-gassing. And that has to do with volatile chemicals, synthetic chemicals, or like formaldehyde that's used to actually cure the plywood itself. That potentially can off-gas again. And that's when the molecular compounds of that synthetic chemical become airborne and get into your body. And again, I don't have an issue per se with plywood in general, but to use it in this industry where we actually are using heat, so we have emitters, and that infrared is penetrating into the plywood, we do definitely run the risk of increasing the potential for more VOCs. So something important to know is a material may be considered safe for some type of usage, but when exposed to a different sort of element like heat or the sun, for example, that can of course cause chemical changes which make it potentially unsafe. So again, when you're buying a sauna, you have to specifically ask the company, and again, hope that they're telling you the truth. But they'll say that, in this case, for example, that, oh, you're buying a hemlock sauna, or you're buying a cedar sauna, or you're buying a basswood sauna. And if you specifically ask them, is this sauna, does it only contain that type of wood? Is it 100% basswood, or 100% cedar, or 100% hemlock? The answer that you're looking for, of course, is yes, it is. But again, that is the minority. I can really count on my hand. That's how few brands actually do the same wood type throughout the sauna. And this is at least what I could consider a step in the direction of what we would term more of a medical grade sauna, or a sauna that might be safe for everybody, for the young, the old, those with a very suppressed immune system, etc. Those that I would recommend for a clinic or a health center. So in this case, they may not disclose the fact that there's plywood in the floor. And in part 2 of my video, I'm actually going to show you in the roof and what that looks like. Now, some companies, by the way, just to give you a heads up, if they do actually say, oh yes, there is some plywood in the sauna, kind of sometimes the sales rebuttal to that topic, if you will, is that, oh, well, it's not technically inside the sauna, the plywood, so you don't have to worry about it per se. Now, keep in mind, such a response isn't really backed up by any testing, usually. But again, think about something this way. When something becomes airborne, in the case of like the floor, and if you're heating it, we're talking about very small particulate, and that could easily pass through the floor. And remember, heat rises, taking some of that compound up. Now, personally, I haven't seen extensive testing on this, but we do know that is kind of the way it works in general when VOCs are created from heat and become airborne. So personally, I wouldn't want to take the chance. And then again, for the roof, I'll talk about that in the second video and why I think that's potentially a concern for the room that your sauna is in, even if it may not technically make its way into the cabin. So again, this is an important thing to look at. And why are so few companies doing this in terms of making saunas that don't have plywood? used anywhere in the construction. It's very simple. It's just to cut corners, save money on costs. to actually use a sauna and create it that's 100% the same wood type, again, basswood, whatever, eucalyptus, poplar, it really doesn't matter what it is, it's of course going to cost that company a lot more money. And again, most companies are not willing to do that. They're trying to really save money here and there. So I would only bring up the other standpoint that if you're trying to evaluate and find better brands, do you want to buy a sauna from a company that is going to be looking for ways to constantly save money on the actual construction of the sauna? So if they're willing to use plywood in the sauna, are they going to be also maybe compromising on other aspects of the sauna? In my research, that is exactly what I see. So there's just a very small set of companies that are, again, trying to compete with one another by actually spending more and investing more on the quality of the sauna. Everybody else is generally kind of more like a rebrand, and they're just looking to create the same cookie cutter kind of sauna as cheaply as possible from the factory, and then try to differentiate it in the consumer's eyes with more like marketing and kind of more the appearances or features that really aren't therapeutic, just to kind of differentiate themselves. But again, when you get down to the kind of the heart, the construction of it, you'll see a lot of the same practices basically with the sauna. So that's it for this kind of video. And again, if you just kind of want to take the shortcut and find and get to the bottom of, what kind of brands are not cutting corners, not compromising, willing to spend more, aren't using any plywood. If that's something you don't want to wait around for, trusting that a company is actually being honest about their VOC testing and things like that, then I've definitely already done that research. I've actually taken apart and looked at many different sauna brands. And again, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to necessarily disclose what brand this is. Fairly well-known brand though. And but of course, if you do want to reach out to me directly on my website, or you can send me an email, give me a call, there's of course more information that I could reveal, one-on-one with you, or a member of my team may also be able to assist you as well. So if you have any questions about the topic of this video, any kind of concerns or any additional information you could share with me that helps with my research and getting out there to consumers, again, feel free to reach me on my website, healthhacksreview.com, and thanks for watching.